Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to do a head-to-head comparison of two newer cartridges. The 1.5-year-old 6.8 Western versus the soon-to-be-released 7mm PRC. We are going to look at the purpose of each of these cartridges, the ballistics, and see which one comes out on top. Hope you enjoy the video. Let's first talk about the 6.8 Western, which came out early 2021 and was co-developed by Winchester and Browning. The parent case and inspiration for the 6.8 Western is the 270 WSM, as you see in this picture. The 270 WSM is a little bit longer than the 6.8 Western, but the whole purpose for the 6.8 Western was to modernize the 270 caliber. So how is it modernized? Well, it got the 6.5 Creedmoor treatment, meaning that all of the rifles for the 6.8 Western are going to have a long throat / more free bore, which allows you to seat the bullet out farther and not have the bullet eke into the case capacity. The other benefit for the 6.8 Western rifles is that all of them will come with a 1 8.5 twist, which will allow you to shoot much heavier, longer, high BC bullets than what you could in a 270 Winchester or a 270 Weatherby. With the development of the 6.8 Western, many more bullet manufacturers are now making heavier, big bullets for 270 caliber, which I think is a big win, which makes the 270 caliber a bit more versatile. Load data for the 6.8 Western has been extremely hard to find, and in fact the only thing I could really find is from Hodgdon's website. And what I've found with the Hodgdon's data is that it's extremely conservative, but I thought I would share it nonetheless. So we're going to use a 170 grain Berger Extreme Outer Limit bullet, not my favorite hunting bullet, but it's the bullet I'm going to use to compare it to the 7mm PRC. And looking at the top velocities, you're looking at high 2,800 feet per second, and then a couple of them in the 2,900, specifically near the bottom, the ram shot, 2,938. Now, I've had people comment on my channel that have done some load development with the 6.8 Western, and they have said that you can easily get over 3,000 feet per second with the 170 grain. So again, I think these are all pretty conservative numbers. Let's talk the 7mm PRC. Unfortunately, I don't have the 7mm PRC brass with me, but I do have the 6.5 PRC and the 300 PRC. And I'm sure you're all familiar with Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I kind of think of it this way. The 6.5 PRC is the baby bear, the 300 PRC is the papa bear, and the 7mm PRC is right in between with power, and it's the mama bear. I think this cartridge is a very well thought out designed cartridge from Hornady. It gives plenty of power, but it's not like the 28 Nosler where it's overboard. You're going to have really good barrel life, and the velocities are going to be a little bit more than a 7mm Remington Magnum. So when does this cartridge come out? I've heard from other YouTube channels that Hornady's probably going to release it late October, November. I'm not 100% sure, but that's just what I've heard, rumors. But let's go ahead and look at some of the performance. Now, there isn't any 7mm PRC load data in a reloading book yet. But from what Hornady is claiming, it seems like the PRC is going to fall right in between the 7mm Rem Mag, which is shooting a 175 grain at, 2,900, maybe high 2,900, depends on the rifle. And the power-wise, it's going to be right in between a 7mm Weatherby, which will shoot a 175 grain at around 3,100 feet per second. So I do think the PRC should shoot a 175 grain around 3,000 feet per second. Now let's compare ballistics between the 6.8 and the 7mm PRC. We'll start out with the 6.8 with the 170 grain Berger EOL bullet, with a BC of 0.662. And again, I think you can get this going at least 3,000 feet per second when you hand load it. And energy, almost 3,400 foot-pounds. Recoil, you know, this does have some decent amount of kick to it. It's going to be more in a 30-06 and a little bit more than maybe a 7 Rem mag. Probably about the same though. Let's take this out to conventional hunting distances. It's going 2,450 feet per second. Energy, mid 2,200 foot-pounds, and only 22.9 inches of drop. Of course, the 6.8 Western was designed for long-range shooting, so let's see how well it does at farther distances. Out to 700 yards, it's still going over 2,000 feet per second, and energy is 1,600 foot-pounds and 98.6 inches of drop. So when you're hand loading 6.8 Western, it is a very good cartridge. With the 7mm PRC, we are using a 175 grain ELDX with a BC of 0.689, a muzzle velocity of around 3,000 feet per second, and your energy is about 100 foot-pounds more. And then your recoil, it's quite a bit more. You know, that you're going to feel this one when you shoot it. Okay, let's go out to, again, ethical hunting distances. It's going almost 2,500 feet per second, and the energy is high 2,300 foot-pounds. So a little bit more than the 6.8 Western, but they're very close. And then the drop, 22.78 inches. Again, they are extremely close. And of course, the 7mm PRC is designed for long-range shooting as well. So let's take this out. Well, 800 yards. It's finally a little bit below 2,000 feet per second, and your energy is mid 1,500 foot-pounds and 136 inches of drop. Now, the 6.8 Western at 700 yards was about 100 foot-pounds less, and they are so close, about an inch difference. So these two are very similar. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. Let's talk about some pros and cons for each of these cartridges. So the first pro that I see with the 7mm PRC, that's kind of a con for the 6.8 Western, is when this PRC does come out, I suspect there's going to be a lot of rifles that chamber the 7mm PRC, just with the track history of Hornady, with the 6.5 PRC and 300 PRC. There are so many choices for rifles. The same cannot be said for the 6.8 Western. Right now, it just seems like Winchester and Browning are really your only options to get a 6.8 Western, which is unfortunate. Now, they make good guns, but selection's just not as big. One positive for the 6.8 Western over the 7mm PRC is since the 6.8 Western has been out for a year and a half, it should be quite a bit easier to find factory ammo for the 6.8 Western. I think it's going to be extremely hard to find 7mm PRC ammo when it does come out, just looking at how hard it is to find 300 PRC and 6.5 PRC. And one last positive I see for the 7mm PRC is all the support it will get. What do I mean is all the support it will get, the resources it will get from Hornady, the reloading handbooks. I mean, the 6.8 Western's been out for, again, a year and a half, and there's almost no loading data for it, unfortunately. So if I had to pick one, if I'm guessing on which one's going to succeed down the road, this one's pretty easy. I do think this 7mm PRC is going to succeed quite a bit more than the 6.8 Western. I would love to see the 6.8 Western be really successful, but I am a little worried that it's going to turn into the 270 WSM. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.